Hello, folks. Welcome to Legacy IS Academy. We will be continuing with our Polity NCERT series where we have started 6th standard NCERT. We've completed chapter 9 of 6th NCERT. Now we will be entering into 10th chapter of NCERT, which is titled as Grassroots Democracy, Part 1 of Governance. Now, as usual, let us see what can we expect from this chapter. What is this chapter speaking about? Okay, so in this chapter it explains the fundamentals of how India is governed, or emphasizing the three-tier structure. Okay, especially of your three-tier government structure, which forms from your local level, state level, central level, and also it speaks about the three organs of the government, that is the legislature, executive, and judiciary. Okay, and it also highlights about the importance of citizens decision making process, especially in your local level decision making. All right, so these are the topics that we will be discussing here. Now, what are the key topics that they have highlighted here? If you see, first they are introducing about grassroots democracy. Grassroots democracy means it is focusing on your empowering local communities to manage their own affairs, especially through your panchayat or local government involvement. Okay. The second aspect they are trying to introduce is the three organs of the government. Okay, here they are speaking about the defined set of laws for your legislature, what roles each one will perform in the society with respect to separation of power, such as the legislature is with regard to making laws for the country, executive is implementing these laws, and judiciary is interpreting these laws. Okay, then they go on to speak about your levels of government. In the levels of government, they explain the functions of your local government, state government, central government, and while maintaining order, law and order, and providing services to the people. Then they also explain and give a specific focus on your role of citizens. Yes, they want to showcase as to how democracy means it is ruled by people, and how people should exercise this right mindfully through voting for their elected representatives. Yes, and this particular chapter has also mentioned Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. It mentions him as an inspired leader that he is, and focuses about your youth and national development. Okay, so this is some of the things that we can expect from this particular chapter. All right, now let's start with grassroots democracy, part 1 of governance. If you see here, look at this. Like as usual, for all your NCERT chapters, they're beginning with the quotes. Okay, you can see the ruler protects dharma, and dharma protects those who protect it. Previous chapter only we said dharma means it is one's duty, right? So here they are highlighting dharma back. Why and for what, we will see a little bit, where they introduce the concept of governance also. Understanding? So this chapter, keep a note on few important things I will be highlighting. Now, see, in your 6th NCERT, we spoke about family, we spoke about community, we spoke about how there are certain set of rules, regulations, etc. If family has to run smoothly, you have to have rules, regulations, each one have to do their designated duty. Okay, same is with respect to your community. Now this is, I told you, family is the first basic foundation unit. Community is comparatively larger. Now put a lot of communities together, it creates a society. Okay, society, a large number of people will be living together. So first level is family, second is community, the third level will be society. Okay, again, if this is an increasing order, then the rules regulations also will become in an increased order. Why are rules needed? In order to make sure there is public order and harmony among the people who are living together. Otherwise, it will be a very chaotic situation. Just imagine a scenario where now you all travel, either own vehicle or public transportation. But let's say if there were no rules, everyone could go anywhere they want and have no rules. How chaotic it will be and how disruptive of your life it will be. Right? So there should be set place rules, laws, and regulations that is to be there. For example, if I say students who are going to school, they have certain set of rules. Let's say teachers also have certain set of rules. Right? So each person, let's say an employer, employee, anyone, they all are supposed to act according to the rules which is required by that particular job. Okay. Now the question comes is, okay, we said with regarding to your schools, colleges, family, community, these are smaller sections still compared to your society. Now for smaller ones in a family, okay, your parents may set the rules. If you're in a joint family, okay, your grandparents, elders, they may set up the rules. Community or your resident welfare association, okay, they will set up few rules. But when it comes to a society as a whole, who do you think will set up the rules or laws? First thing is, these rules, what has it got to do with people means they ensure that the society is organized and it is followed. Now, if you're traveling is where you need, let's say you are sitting in home, simply you can't be put to rules. Rules which are needed for different sections of society are put in place and made sure that rules are followed. If rules are made only to be broken, then what is the point of making rules in the first place? Right? So, governance means organizing the society's life with a different set of rules. Why different set of rules? Different scenarios are there. Okay, and ensuring they are followed is what is called as governance. This becomes very important because your polity and governance are closely related. And also, if you see in your UPSC, GS paper 2 has Indian polity and Indian governance clubbed together. Understanding? Polity is how we are trying to establish our system. Governance is how effective is the service delivery from the government to the people. Okay. So, okay, now we said rules are very important. This is important for what? For good governance of our country. Governance means running of our country. Now, who can do this governance? If you see, there are a group of individuals who are there only to make rules. Okay. They are called as government. Only to make rules, one section. To make sure rules are followed, another section. So, important rules which should be applicable throughout the length and breadth of the country are called as laws. Okay. Now, this does not mean that, yes, if you set a rule once, it is like that. Yes, fixed. I'll give you a few examples. What is this thing called as important rules or called as laws? What are some examples of laws? Biodiversity Act. Okay, an act is a law only, which means that is binding on people to follow. So why is this Biodiversity Act there for? To protect and preserve the biodiversity. Wildlife Protection Act. Okay, and your Jammu and Kashmir State Reorganization Act. So now when I tell these things are brought about based on the need of the society at whichever time we want it. For example, 1947, India got independence. 1952, we had our first general election, parliament was created. Do you think we have the same number of states in 1952 to the one that we have in 2026? No, a lot of changes will keep happening. So these laws are tend to change based on the scenario society need. Understanding? So this is one important thing you have to understand, that laws or rules does not mean that it is a one time thing. Also, see, look at this picture here. What would happen if rules are not followed in the society? Remember earlier we spoke about an example where, let's say, in the first example picture that you're able to see, you see how organized people are. There are traffic signals, pedestrians are walking on the platforms, your vehicles are following stop sign, traffic signals, everything. Now, this is because everyone is bound to follow these rules. Now let's assume I'm going to skip this concept of rules. Okay. Do you see the picture here? Purely chaotic. No one is following rules here. Pedestrians are walking on road. There are no stop signals. There is no one who is moving ahead. They are just stuck everywhere. This is what would happen if rules are not followed. Okay, this would mean bad governance. Why? No one is getting on time, no one is able to do anything properly. So this is something that is important as to why rules are to be followed. Understanding? So rules are not followed means this is what is going to happen. Now, in our society, it is very important for each section or agent to perform his or her duty properly. Meaning what? Let's say in the image that you will see now, you see a doctor is providing medical service, the traffic police is trying to control the traffic, right? And then there is a teacher teaching students. So all this has to happen where individuals contribute to the society and do their respective roles for society to function. Okay. Now let's get into the different organs of the government. Now, if you see, there are three organs of government, which means these three are set to be created for a specific purpose. First organ is your legislature. Second organ is your executive. Okay. And third organ is said to be your judiciary. So these are the three organs. Why did your Indian system or setup of government have three organs? First of all, if you see, that is for one important aspect. It is for separation of power, which means the whole point, okay, we are discussing all these things is because we are part of a system called as democracy. Understanding? Here, democracy means two things, demos and cratia. It in simple words means people's rule. In democracy, the rule of a country should be by the people. Now, when you call such a government where the rule is by people's representatives, elected representatives, all this, then one thing you have to make sure should happen in that country is power should not be concentrated, which means no one person should have ultimate power. Okay, what is the main thing? Power should not be concentrated, rather power should be distributed. What do I mean by this? Which means if power is in only one body hands, then there will be ultimate control from them only. Yes, we don't want ultimate control to be in only one body hands. So what should you do? You have to distribute the power. Okay, because absolute power corrupts. Look at this, what I'm writing. And that is bad for governance. You need to make sure that the power is distributed. How are you distributing? That is where these three organs are coming into picture. Legislature, executive and judiciary. Okay. Now, these three organs we are creating is for one simple reason. It is to separate the power or distribute the power. What is legislative work? If you see, it is to make laws for the country. What is the executive's role? If you see, it is to make sure that these laws are implemented. What is judiciary's role? If you see, it is to make sure that the laws made are interpreted as to whether it is at the benefit of people or not. Okay, so this is extremely important. So what is legislature? Legislature in simpler sense means a body which is set to make laws for the country. Okay. What is executive? Executive is a body set to implement these laws. Understanding? Look at this here. Legislature is the organ that makes new laws or legislates. Which means what? It either adds new laws, updates new laws, or removes older laws. Okay, so this is legislature. Next is executive. Executive is the organ that implements these laws. Okay, that includes who will come under your executive means we can call it as, okay, we can call it as in executive way there will be President of India, there will be Prime Minister of India in the central level. Now when we see it with respect to state level, we will see things such as Chief Minister, Governor, right? So all these things are what will form your executive. Okay. Then the third unit is your judiciary. Judiciary is nothing but a system of courts. What does these courts do? Whether any particular law is broken. Okay. Let's say law is more of an important rule is what we said. Now I tell, okay, no one is supposed to make sure that you create ruckus in your traffic, which means you will not violate traffic rules is what you will be thinking. But there is someone who has broken that rule or law. Now you will take him in front of the judge. The judge will see whether you are a first time offender, whether have you actually violated the law, or are you a habitual offender, which means who often breaks traffic rules. Based on the nature of the crime you have committed or the violation you have committed, penalty will be given. Which penalty, what type of penalty, judiciary will decide. Okay. They will also see whether the law made by the legislature itself is fair, is it just, is it suitable for citizens, is it based on the interest of citizens that they have created this. Okay, this is how they will be doing it. So your government has three organs, that is legislature, executive and judiciary. All of these are meant to work with each other. Okay, do you see the image? Governance. Again, this is to make sure smooth functioning of the country. There are three aspects: legislature, executive, judiciary. All three are supposed to do the role that they are specified to do, not do someone else's work. Legislature should not be the one to give punishment or try people. Okay, same is with all the organs. Okay, so this is why it is created, separation of power concept. Next, we will be entering different levels of government. How many do we have? 3 levels. Sometimes it is called as levels or tiers of government, which means say levels or layers. Usually in a democratic country, there will be 2 or more levels. India has 3 levels. What is this 3 levels means? First is at your national level. We are going to call that as central government. Then at state level, we are going to call that as state government. And at village level or town level, we are going to call that as local government. Now, why these 3 levels are needed? Let's assume you have an issue in your house. Immediately, do you think you will go to your chief minister or prime minister to resolve the issue? No. First thing you will see is what is the issue? Whether can I resolve it? Let's say electricity. You went, you switched on all the lights in your house, nothing is working. Then you see whether everyone is it the bulb has gone, fuse has gone, any issues with that, any loose connections. Then you try to see whether only your house has no power or even your neighbors. Then what you do, you try to go to your electrician and see. They say, okay, no issues. Then you will try to see your local electricity officials to see what the issue is. Now, let's say that issue is now not only for your house but for your entire district. Then it will be more meaningful to approach your state. Then you see the issue is not only for your district, but it's for your entire state. Then it will be more meaningful to go to the center. So based on immediate addressing of the situation, you will decide the levels. Okay. So fast and most effective will be local level because they are nearby to you. Understanding? So we have local government, state government, central government or union government. So these are the 3 levels of government. Look at this picture. Legislature means law-making body. In legislature, our legislature in the central level is called as parliament. Parliament is mandatorily supposed to have 2 houses. One house is called as Lok Sabha or lower house or house of people. Okay. Then second house is called as Rajya Sabha or upper house or called as Council of States. Mandatorily, you should have 2 houses in the central level. Now, when it comes to state level, states where there are 2 options. Either you can have a lower house called as Legislative Assembly or Vidhana Sabha, or you can have second upper house called as Legislative Council. This Legislative Council is an optional body. If the state legislature wants, they can keep it. We will decide how, why, what, etc. future. Okay. Most states have only one house, that is Legislative Assembly. Hardly in India today, only 6 states have Legislative Council, like Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar. Okay. So this is with respect to your parliament or legislature at the central and state level. Next, coming to the government, and that is executive. Executive pe, again, there is something called central government and state government. Now, usually they are led by executive means president is also there, Prime Minister is also there. Okay. Alongside that, lot of ministers also there. Your President of India is considered like a nominal head. Nominal head means he is more of a symbolic power, not a real power or authority. Who is the real power or authority in India then? That will be Prime Minister. Okay, your president is the head of or your supreme commander of Indian armed forces. Okay, military, army, navy, air force, everything. Like there is president who is a nominal authority for center, there is also a governor for the state who will be a nominal authority. Real authority is your chief minister. Okay, alongside that, your prime minister and chief minister are aided by your other council of ministers who will be spearheading different departments or portfolios. Now, what topics does your center has power means? For example, defense, foreign affairs, atomic energy, communication, currency, interstate commerce, formulation of national policies, which means, let's say, what is this concept of, okay, center has power over these items means, let's take a 100 rupees note. 100 rupee note ka value is 100 rupee whether you go to Sikkim or whether you come to Kerala. 50 rupees coin, 50 rupees note is of the same value in Gujarat or in Tamil Nadu. Right? Are you understanding that throughout India these will mean the same things? But whereas there are certain things which are specific to your states, for example, police, law and order, your public health, education, agriculture, irrigation, local government. So these kind of topics which are meant for specific state, specific things. Now, just because I can grow rice in West Bengal, does it mean can I come and start growing rice in Rajasthan? So agriculture is specific for each state. Yes. Next, we will be discussing about the eminent personality, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, as to what he states about your youth engagement, okay, or youth role in the society. See, APJ Abdul Kalam is a person who is born from a very modest background in Rameshwaram, Tamil Nadu, who is very famously called as your missile man of India. He was very crucial and integral in the development of India's space program, missile program, and nuclear capabilities. He was the 11th President of India from 2002 to 2007. Despite he being the President of India, he was always very particularly connected with your youth of the nation. Why? Because he told that if you encourage the youth of India and the tireless work of the youth is what will make them achieve great goals. The great goals that they achieve will in turn be a great impact on India. They've given certain important quotes given by APJ Abdul Kalam. So just look at the sky, we are not alone. The whole universe is friendly to us and conspires us only to give the best to those who dream and work. Okay, so these are some of the things that the youth of India should keep in mind. Okay, next, let's speak about democracy. Now, I told you democracy is coming from a Greek word called as demos and kratia, which means people's rule, or literally means it is the rule of the people. But is it possible that every single person every day morning will get up and come to rule the country? No, right? How are we able to exercise this concept of rule by the people? Through our elected representatives, which means we will elect someone who will in turn do the rule making, law implementation for us. Okay, so these people who we elect, their whole point of or their job itself is to make sure people's interests are represented. So these people are called as representatives or elected representatives. Now, when we elect representatives to the center or central government, they are called as MPs. MPs means member of parliament. Now, when we do it for the state, they are called as MLAs. MLA means member of legislative assembly. So, Indian democracy is a representative democracy. What is a representative democracy? We are ruling our country through elected representatives. Okay, and India has the credit and feather of cap in the feather in the cap, such as we are one of the world's largest democracies. Largest democracies means we have more than 970 million voters registered in 2024 alone. Now 970 million voters, if you have to be a voter, you have to have two conditions. What is it? One, you have to be a citizen of India. Two, you have to be 18 plus years of age, otherwise also called as universal adult franchise. Okay, so this is how we are one of the largest democracies. Now, in democracy itself, we have two types: direct democracy and indirect democracy. Direct democracy is where people directly come for decision making process. Okay, indirect democracy is where we are ruling through our elected representatives. Understanding? So this is how India works. We are largely indirect democracy. Okay, we have spoken about direct democracy, indirect democracy and all. Then we also in the beginning mentioned about something called grassroots level democracy. Grassroots level democracy means it is where the citizens, okay, are having a say or they are able to make decisions, okay, which will be better for them. This is what we call as grassroots level democracy. What forms grassroots level democracy in rural or urban areas, we will see in the upcoming chapters. Okay, so with this we come to the end of chapter 10. Okay, so what did we learn from this? We learned about different organs of government, different levels, okay, and what should be the people's role, what should be the youth role, all of this we have seen. Next we will continue with chapter 11 of 6th standard NCERT. Thank you.